All right. So can everybody see what's on the screen? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So we're going to talk about continuing education units. Sounds boring, but it is absolutely essential for anyone in the IT and cybersecurity industry. Are you guys familiar with it? Have you started to learn about CEUs? Anybody?
Yes. I mean, not really, but I mean, just thinking like I have been in school for a long, long time, and after my bachelor's degree, I still like uh, learning. Like I'm taking a lot of those courses, getting some certificates, and I mean, basically, I'm practicing on my computer. Like, so I never stop. Like, so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So you're in a constant learning mode anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yep.
and actually, I love this topic really.
Okay. Good, good. So let's talk about CEUs. You know, for anybody that doesn't know, if you are in a professional career field, and I'll show some examples of that, but you have to have ongoing training. Ongoing training is necessary. And they call it continuing education or continuing professional education, CPE. You'll see CEUs or CPEs, and they're used kind of either way. You know, the various career fields call them one thing or the other, but they mean the same thing. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, it says, think of it as maintaining your currency. So here are a number of the different career fields that require continuing education. And of course, IT professionals. Why do you think continuing education is so important? Anybody? Thoughts?
Because I mean, especially I'm talking about information technology, because you have to build your knowledge, your skills, update. There's always something new, especially in information technology. So if you don't do that, like, so you might not be able to move on or like do your job. I think, in my opinion, I think that's the most important reason. Besides, like, I don't know, getting like a better job and making more money.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Keeping up with the progress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Think about lawyers. Now, Kate, I'm not sure about the Finnish law system, but I'll say the U.S. law system is based on precedent. In other words, they pass laws, but then the laws are further refined based on court cases that occur. So not every court case is how do I say this? There are new things that can occur, new laws come out, but there are also new court cases that help to define what used to be acceptable, 60, 70, 80 years ago is nowhere near what is being practiced today in the law offices and in courts. So that's why you always have to be watching for stuff in your industry. A lot of people subscribe to blogs, or they receive, articles from their professional industry. Those are all designed to help them stay current on what's going on in our industry. Same thing with IT. That's why you see so many blogs out there. You see so many webinars, vlogs, all those things. Why? Because stuff is, like Nerman mentioned, stuff is new all the time. And so here's a little exercise. If you were a hiring manager and you saw these things on a resume, would they be valuable to you? And why or why not? Proficient in MS-DOS 7.0, certified in Windows 2000. I'm an expert in Windows NT Server 4.0. What do you think? Would you hire this person?
Probably not. Like, I'm just thinking like people who used to use like Windows XP and or like, I mean, I have one old computer with Windows XP and it's still working. And I mean, it's a huge difference between
right.
like old operating system and the newest one. Like, so, and I mean that really, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Like,
okay,
specializing the XP.
They're older. Yeah, that's fine. XP was actually came out after Windows 2000, just to give you an idea. I was going to put XP on the screen. But why do you think that these are not valuable anymore?
Because nobody's using that anymore. Maybe some like some of those legacy systems, like, but I mean, I was actually a couple months ago using that computer to retrieve some data, like from hard drive, and so basically, it's not possible. There is no updates. You cannot use that anywhere else. And then they're like, in my opinion, like it's really simple, like to use, like so. It's, I don't know, like it to me it looks like if you put that on the resume, it's like you're putting like I know how to read and write, like so everyone expecting you to know to read and write, like so that's you know that's my opinion.
Yeah, you said a couple things there. Number one, it's not available anymore, but it's not available, which also means, next slide, it is unsupported. That means, if you look down at the very bottom, if I'm a manager, I should be fired if I still have these things in my environment. They're unsupported. That means there are no security patches out for them. And that means that if they have any known vulnerabilities, those vulnerabilities will remain as long as I have those systems powered up and running. So if you see, or if you have a resume and you say, I'm good at Windows XP, you're basically saying, I'm good at an operating system that you shouldn't be running anyway. Think about it. So you always should be talking about your skills and proficiencies with current technologies, not older, unsupported technologies. Make sense? So let's talk about CEUs, also called CPEs. You'll see this goes back and forth depending on the slide. If you are, and we're going to talk specifically about Security Plus, but with your CompTIA certifications, the date you receive your certification starts a clock for 3 years that specifies you must either obtain a certain number of CEUs or you will have to recertify. In other words, you take your Security Plus exam. If you do nothing for 3 years, you'll have to take another Security Plus exam in 3 years in order to keep Security Plus on your resume. Otherwise, your certification expires and you can no longer put it on your resume. That's pretty scary. You mean what? It's like you get your, let's say you get a bachelor's degree. Nerman, you got a bachelor's degree. And what if they tell you that, you know, after 3 years, your bachelor's degree expires? What? No way. Well, with certifications, they do expire. So you have to remember that every certain period of time, in this case it's 3 years, you have to either demonstrate continuing education, prove continuing education, or take the exam again. Okay? So that's what a lot of people don't think about. You're just trying to get your certification now. But here's the CompTIA CEUs that are needed for each of their certifications. And if you notice right in the middle, Security Plus requires 50 CEUs. That's 50 CEUs in a 3-year period. Okay? So not 50 per year, but 50 over the course of 3 years. All right? Make sense? So how do you get them? Number one, you can't get them before your certification and have them apply. In other words, your time frame begins the date you get your certification and ends 3 years later, where they say, yes, you have enough CEUs, you can continue using this certification, or you must retest. And then we talk about 50% of course content must relate to exam objectives for the certification. And then you have to document it. So you can, there are some other ones, earn other industry certs, complete training in higher education. You were talking about that, Nerman, higher education. Participate in IT industry activities. Guess what? This mentorship is an IT industry activity. You can publish articles, white papers, blog posts, or write a book. You can gain related work experience. And of course, the first thing our minds go to is, work experience. If I get a job as an incident response analyst, let's say, that's going to cover all 50 CEUs, right? Wrong. Your job will cover a total of 9 CEUs over the course of your 3-year period. Working in the industry will not even get you 1/5 of the CEUs you need. So you have to rely on other methods as well. So here are some examples. Teach or mentor. For any of you mentees that have been here a while, Nerman, we might consider putting you on the roster as a mentor, 20 CEUs, if you're doing it over the course of your 3-year period. Create instructional materials. Remember, we talked about this. I want us to have a speakers bureau. And those slide decks are instructional materials. So if you work on creating the slide decks for our speakers bureau, you can get up to 20 more CEUs. And see how this is adding up. They're trying to get you to where you are learning from a variety of sources. Not just one thing, but doing different things. Now this one, here's another one. Publish an article or a white paper. You guys have heard me say this a few times. You ought to learn how to do a white paper. How about a blog? Do a cybersecurity blog. This is my, travels through cybersecurity. Kate, you represent a perfect case study. Somebody who's trying to change careers from non-technical to technical, how do I say this? You are not a Finnish citizen, right? And you are a female. That in itself is a reason why people would read your blog. Something to think about. And oh, by the way, you notice it says publish a blog. publish an article or a white paper. Where do you publish white papers? Any ideas? If you decided you were going to write a white paper, where would you publish it?
Could I publish on LinkedIn?
Yes, absolutely. Say, hey, here's my white paper. What do you guys think about it? They can love it or hate it. You'll still get 16 CEUs. Okay? Publish your blog. You get 16 CEUs, even if nobody reads it. Remember, it has to refer to your career field. Or publish a book. Even Cert Mike, the guy who wrote the Cybex security guides, he only gets 40 CEUs for writing a book. 40 CEUs. Here are some other ones. Complete a training course, 50. Attend a live webinar, 10. Kate, you have been to a couple webinars or conferences. Each one of those is 10 CEUs, but you have to prove it, okay, for example. So think about that. College course, there you go, Nerman, 50 CEUs. However, if you look over to the right, 10 contact hours roughly equates to 1 CEU. So to get those 50 CEUs, you are going to have to complete 500 hours in a classroom. But you can get it over the course of 3 years. Okay? So it's roughly 10 to 1 if you think about it. Contact hours. So as you can see, there's a variety of different ways to earn these CEUs, and throughout the industry, they are somewhat the same. They're not identical, but they're somewhat the same. If you publish a white paper, you're going to get CEUs. If you attend a webinar or a conference, you're going to get CEUs. Or if you're talking about like CISSP, they call them CPEs, continuing professional education. Okay? So here's my strategy for you. As soon as you get your certification, plan on getting your next certification and make it a higher level certification. Here's why. If you get your CISSP, you probably don't need to put down that you still have your Security Plus. Why? Because everything in Security Plus and more is contained in the CISSP. Security Plus is considered to be an entry-level certification. CISSP is considered to be a practitioner-level certification. It's sort of like, why would I have to go back to high school if I have a college degree? Okay? So I don't have to put my high school graduation into my resume anymore because I have, well, 3 degrees. And if I've got an MBA, I don't even have to talk about my bachelor's degree unless it's relevant. See what I'm saying? Keep working toward higher levels, and then you can let that old stuff fall off the bottom of your resume. But remember, higher level certifications, in this case, the CISSP, over the course of that same 3-year period, from the moment you get certified, you have to earn 120 CPEs, almost 2.5 times what you need for your Security Plus. So start getting CPE smart and realize that even if you're just doing things in the industry, they all add up, and then start to document them. There are different ways to document and report depending upon who you're getting this with. For Security Plus, go to CompTIA and look up CEUs. If you already have your A Plus or your Network Plus or your Cloud Plus or your Linux Plus or whatever, then guess what? some of the things that we do in CyberSecurity Sensei are going to allow you to get your CPEs that you need to maintain your currency. So do any of you have certifications yet? Oh, Nerman, your hand's up.
Yeah, I was going to. So I recently also got one certificate, and it says there that it's worth like 20 CPEs. And I'm attending this live webinar every morning for 1 hour from 7 to 8. And I have like over like 100 screenshots, like kind of like I was documenting everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they said like each one is worth it like each episode it's worth half of CP. So
Mm-hmm.
so does that mean like so I have like almost like 85 of those CPs with that certificate? Actually, I have 2 more certificates. So I'm not sure how to count this.
Okay. Well, go to the website. If these are CompTIA, then go into CompTIA and look up CEUs. It's not CPEs in CompTIA. It's CPEs for like the CISSP. So to help you guys, here's what I have done. I went back to October, and I have now documented every person's attendance in our webinars. Now, you notice there's column A and column C. Column B contains your name, but it also contains your email and your phone numbers frequently. So that's why I'm not showing it on this screen. So, I'm not divulging your personal information out there. But column B contains your information. So if you attended one of my webinars, then I can document and I will be able to write you a letter that says you attended the following webinars and this is what we covered. If you look at the YouTube videos for each of these webinars, you notice I put down the topics in the notes. And I try and make sure that they are relevant to this career field. I'm not just talking to be talking. I'm trying to give you the experience and skills you need, which means you can usually, now not just watching the YouTube videos, but attending these things live, you can get CPEs or CEUs, whatever it's called. Okay? So when any of you get closer toward doing this, or let's say you suddenly decide that you no longer want to participate in our webinars, you can ask me and I will be happy to produce a letter that says you attended these webinars. I even have the number of minutes you attended, but I can basically say each webinar was 1 hour. And these are the topics we covered, because like when you submit it for CompTIA, you have to describe what was taught, what was discussed in those webinars. So if you are doing a course, you use the objectives for the course. If you're doing another certification exam, you use the objectives for that certification exam. Well, we don't have objectives, but we do have topics. So that's what I can do for you. All right? Does that make sense? Do you think that will be helpful for you guys?
Oh, yeah.
And again,
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was actually thinking about this to ask you, like, so how we can get, because this is the same thing like that I'm doing with other people, and I was thinking like, so then I know I wasn't there like every Saturday, but so I was thinking like, so probably I can also get some those CPs like from this webinar. So, and I was actually
Yes.
thinking to ask you. So yeah, that's amazing. And I have one question quickly. So you mentioned something about like attending some cybersecurity conference. So I'm going this year like to DEF CON Las Vegas conference, and it's like 4 days, and I'm planning to attend all 4 days. I already purchased tickets, so how can I count that? And actually, can I count that? So how can I prove that? Like, what should I take some photos there? Like, I don't know. Like, how can I kind of document that my cybersecurity conference that I was attending?
Okay. Are these for CompTIA certifications?
I'm not sure. Like, I mean, I just heard like during those webinars that everyone is talking about DEF CON. So it's like one of the biggest, but I don't know exactly. But yeah.
Do you already have certifications?
CompTIA, no.
Okay. If you have a certification, then go back to the certifying company and find out how you need to document your continuing education. It's a little different for everyone.
Okay.
So, but I would say that they all have some sort of online certification tracking system where you can upload your information. They will audit it, and then they will tell you whether or not it qualifies.
Okay, yeah, I read something about webinars. They said like it's so hard, like, but they said like, you know, like say hello in chat, take screenshot, but that's mostly like for like live webinar.
Right.
But I don't know about like conference, like when you go there, like what? I mean, I assume I can just like keep my ticket and maybe take some photos, like, and maybe, you know, talk with some people and have some proof of that I was attending actually, right?
When I was looking at the CompTIA where they talked about conference attendance, they basically said if you can prove you paid for it, they consider that to be attendance. In other words, you plopped money down to go, then you can say, you know, I went. But again, it varies depending upon who you're talking to. So go back to that certification authority and make sure that it meets with their documentation expectations. In some cases, for example, if you are doing, I think I saw one where if you're doing your work experience, that 9 CEUs, your supervisor actually has to sign a letter that says you're doing stuff related to this career field or the certification. So it has to be signed by your manager, you know, so it depends. Make sure that, you know, you meet the right criteria. That's why every one of us has to be constantly learning this and paying attention. This year I went here, I did this, document it all, make sure that you have enough to prove it, and then register it with your certifying authority. In the case of Security Plus, it will be CompTIA. Okay, make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? That was all I had for today. Yes, Kate?
And when you have these CPUs, what happened next? Is the cert renewed or?
Well, you are required to upload proof of them to the, in this case, CompTIA website. But you can't do it before you get your cert. So number one, you got to get your certification. And then number two, you start uploading your CPEs or CEUs, whatever it's called. Also, don't wait till the last couple months of the 3-year period, because it could be very hard to retrieve some documentation. What happens if your manager left? You know, and your new manager doesn't want to sign anything that happened before they arrived. So get your CPUs, track them, work on documenting them, put a folder on your computer where you can start putting your screenshots or whatever into, and also to remind yourself, oh yeah, I attended that, you know, like I was mentioning to Kate, I attended that thing in Tempe, Arizona in May of last year. That would have qualified for CPEs, you know? Make sense?
Yeah, but I mean that you have three. Oh, sorry, Melanie. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to ask a quick question. Do you know how long it takes for them if you submit one of your, I guess I don't know what CompTIA calls it, but if you submit some documentation, do you know how long it takes for them to approve it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And it's typically based on their resources and their backlog, so it's going to change. And that's another reason why you shouldn't wait till the last, 60 days or something. What if they're busy? Then your certification lapses because you got lazy and waited till the very end. Start doing it now. Get your 50 CEUs the first year. And then you don't have to do anything. Just, make sure they're logged and you're ready to recertify, or you're ready to renew, it's called, your Security Plus at the end of 3 years. It'll be a simple matter of course, you have to pay to renew, but it's less than having to recertify. Okay?
Yeah, that's what I meant, that when you have the CEUs,
whatever it's called, yes.
Whatever it's called, then your certifications is valid for 3 more years, right?
You do have to renew, but the renewal is part of the process of recording your CPEs or CEUs, whichever it is. So yes. Okay. Cool. I hope everybody learned something. I had fun presenting this. I had to research it because I didn't know. And come to find out, if you get a CISSP, don't worry about your Security Plus anymore. You could say, yeah, I got a Security Plus. I got my CISSP, and I'm maintaining my currency in my CISSP. Your employer is going to be very happy with that. Me, okay, I'll explain this before we leave. I can say I have Security Plus, although mine was from 2007, and it was using the 301 exam. Why? Because at that time, CompTIA told everybody, if you get a certification from us, you're certified for life. Sounds wonderful. However, if I say I have a Security Plus and I have not been maintaining my CEUs to keep it current, I have to say I have a 301 Security Plus. And by the way, that means exactly 0 at the Department of Defense, for example. DOD requires that you maintain continuing education or you don't get credit at all, period. You can't get hired, for example. So, there are reasons why you maintain currency. Okay? All right, everybody. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And we will see you all on the web, right?
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
You too. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.